Here we go, guys. We get to talk about One Piece. Isn't that amazing? Chapter 1074, Mark 3. It's a lot going on here, so I'm gonna give you guys my unfiltered thoughts. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it, okay? I think in this chapter, at first glance, I didn't appreciate it for what it was. After rereading several times, I have a newfound appreciation for this chapter because it's loaded. It truly is. Let's start with the cover story, right? We have Queen, Caesar, and Judge, and they're fighting. This is probably the beginning of them breaking up or Mads just going the wrong way. But something else to consider here is just how they're coming into their own. We have Judge obviously using his spear, but he's attacking Caesar, who used his devil fruit to get around it. Then Caesar attacked Queen, who's choking Judge using a cybernetic arm. So at the end of the day, they're coming into their own. They're transforming into the people they're going to become. I thought that was cool as hell, Oda'S showing that. Devil fruit, I guess science, and for Judge being the Garuda using his spear, right? So I did enjoy this cover story because at first glance it's like, oh, they're just fighting, but when you look closer, they're using their abilities, so that's really dope. So great cover story. We got to see where else it goes. It's a lot more to it, I think. But anyway, let's get to the chapter. We got upgraded pacifistas. We're trying to figure out the extent of everything they can do, and here we have a new ability. At first I thought that they were using a devil fruit, okay? I was like, okay, there's got to be a devil fruit power, but now just with more thinking, more thoughts, it could be the resin from Sabodia Archipelago. It could be utilizing a devil fruit like Khalifa, but they're using this to give the pacifista more autonomy, meaning they can now defend themselves. Before, the pacifista would just attack. They didn't care about anything. Now they're defending themselves, which means these pacifista a lot smarter than the other ones. They still don't have hockey, so if you're a hockey user, you probably should be able to overwhelm them, but I'm not sure how you would interact with this bubble shield, right? And if you don't know how to deal with this shield, you could get overwhelmed. They're impressive. This is PX 341. It's crazy. Right? This is the ultimate defense that Vegapunk created. We know in Egghead they already have holograms, etc. Now they have a bubble ability in which they can utilize and use for defense. What Egghead is how can we supplement, right? Because we don't have the power of some of these monsters. How can we supplement for Haki or Ryo? We use this bubble ability that bullets are not working on. It's a very impressive sight to see just where the pacifista have come. And okay, I know we follow the Straw Hats. The pacifista on their own at this point are not that scary, but for a lot of other people, they would not know how to handle something like this. So shout out to Vegapunk, man. He is truly the greatest mind in the world, which does lead us to Sentomaru. He's evolving as a character, where now he's acting beyond the scope of just orders. Hey, I'm just gonna be a Marine and follow the Marines. I would like to see exactly what transpired between him and Vegapunk. Of course, Vegapunk saved him, so I get that. Sentomaru is now ordering the pacifistas to do his bidding. He's saying the Navy is trying to reach him. What I take from that is because they haven't heard from Sentomaru in a while, and I don't think the Navy or the people, the Navy base that's close by understand that CP0 is on the island, so they're worried about their guy. So for Sentomaru, he's like, man, I'm low-key betraying them, and they're trying to reach me to figure out if I'm okay. Yeah, it's gonna be unsettling because he's now on the other side. He's working with the Yonko now, and so it's tough. Labo Stratum in Egghead. They can't find Vegapunk or the Stella body. In this entire scenario though, I'm worried about Luffy. Is anybody else worried? What's going on with him? This dude is tired because he ran all over the place. He broke his hover boots running around, which means that sandals over the hover boots. I know people were mad last week because the official live action poster came out and he didn't have sandals on. He had on like Uggs or clocks. But this chapter is proving that sandals are superior. Either way, Luffy's dead tired. Zoro's asking him like, what? How much running did you do? Because he can't find Old Man Punk. I hope this isn't the effects of Gear 5, him using it, and we know the drums of liberation, so his heartbeat, his heart is a part of it, and when the last time his heart was a part of a transformation, it was affecting him, it was affecting his health, meaning Gear 2. So now, Gear 2nd, I'm sorry. Gear 2, that sounds crazy. So now with Gear 5, it seems to be no ramifications or no drawbacks, and I don't necessarily want drawbacks, but Gear 5 is amazing. Borderline broken. For Luffy, and typically in anime, somebody has a broken power like that. There's some drawback, some time limit, something like that. Luffy has none of that. He went out of Gear 5, then went right back into it. Is this something deeper, guys? Are we looking too much into it? Is Luffy developing a disease? Talk to my guy Parvision, something that he talked about. One of his theories is that Luffy, because of Gear 5 and rubber bands, when you stretch them, they become white. And for Luffy, eventually using Gear 5 too much, he will no longer be elastic. The elasticity will go away. I like that theory a lot because it doesn't necessarily mean death, but he kind of loses the ability to stretch, right? I like the takeaway as opposed to Luffy dying. Just a theory. Don't get your panties in a bunch. I just really like that. Either way, I'm concerned. Maybe you're reading too much into it, but I got an eyebrow raised. But they're still trying to find Old Man Punk. But now everyone is asking the question that I was asking probably over a month ago. Who's the traitor? Or what's going on? They're suspicious. They're a bit strange. Who's they? All the punks. We're narrowing it down to Lilith because all signs are pointing towards Lilith. I thought she was suspicious when she asked, or they asked her about, hey, the CP8 ships, the CP7 ships that got sent here. What's going on? He was like, well, I don't know. People are like, well, everyone has to upload and download. Like, there's no way they could betray. These are offspring of the mind of Vegapunk. If anyone can get around a simple upload and download, it's them. They can create a flash memory drive and they can upload that and do that the entire time. And something that me and Pari also talked about is, well, Lilith, she did not recognize the Straw Hat or Luffy as a Yonko. Everyone else did. Shaka did. Why didn't Lilith? Did she not do her upload or download? So like a lot of things are pointing towards Lilith, but I'm looking at Shaka. Now, Shaka the good, right? At first it was logic, then it turned to good. Shaka the good. I wonder for Shaka if he understands that going against the world government is bad, or just bad from a neutral perspective, considering they are the power, or they are the organization in power. So he in his own way is trying to sabotage Vegapunk's escape because he thinks the good thing to do, or the logical thing to do, is for Vegapunk to remain in Egghead. But clearly CP0 is trying to assassinate him. So Lilith and Shaka are the two, and they're complete opposites for the most part based on their nature. Lilith does not like Shaka at all, or can't stand Shaka. Not like, can't stand, whatever. Shaka, Lilith, those are the two candidates right now. Lilith has so many damning evidence. She's not even in a control room right now. Where is she? Right? What's going on? Lilith, where are you? She was already pillaging. She was already doing quote unquote bad things, which means she would go the extra mile if need be, but she seems too obvious. But I wonder, when things are too obvious sometimes in One Piece, I question myself because the Hiyori thing, right? But then we had things like Kamazono Manslayer that wasn't as obvious. So where are we leading, guys? Am I reading too much into this like Luffy and his Gear 5 thing? No, because there's definitely a traitor. Now, who's going around doing things? Destroying the lab stratum, or rather the frontier dome? Well, there are a few candidates. We saw the ability that Kuma used and made me think of Khalifa. So I'm like, maybe that's why Khalifa was useless in Film Red, because she's going to be back into the story. Maybe Jabra and them, those guys are back, right? They've come to help their boys, right? Want to see Fukuro again? Hattori is a good candidate because Hattori, I mean, just going around messing with things so that he can save his boy Khalifa. Also, Caribou's around. What if Caribou's the one who kidnapped the Stella body? And also, Bluno can basically go through dimensions. They have people on their squad or their old squad that can infiltrate and do dastardly things. So it could be one of them, or it could be a third party, Shiryu, that people were talking about, that's going around messing things up, but he's kidnapped Vegapunk. For what purpose? We don't know, but things are in dire straits right now. I don't think they realize how bad things are, but things are pretty bad because they can't escape. There's an admiral on the way and a Gorosei. I mean, we don't know exactly what that would mean. Oda has talked about the Gorosei before. I've mentioned it, that they haven't shown basically their best attributes, their best strengths yet. Whatever that means. He didn't say that verbatim, but to that effect, that we haven't seen the best of the Gorosei yet, which we've seen their intellect. The only thing we haven't seen is their physical strength. So they're on the way there. I'm sure the Marines at the base close by, they're going to start making their way there. Things are not great right now. And if the Gorosei make their way there and we can't find the Stella body, what becomes of things when they do take control of the Seraphim again? And there are two other Seraphim that are on the island that haven't been mobilized yet. Guys, things are gonna get so crazy. But to that spread in the lab stratum, I'm not sure how many people notice this. First off, Zoro's drip is immaculate. I mentioned that before. Other than Luffy, Zoro is Oda's favorite. Like, no question. Zoro is Oda's favorite. That jacket, I would wear that. I would rock that to the store. I'm not gonna lie, I like that jacket a lot. And listen, we're all fans of old anime Ninja Turtles. The swords on your back, you feel me? Like Mihawk? Come on now, like how can you deny the drip? We can't ignore fat Stussy. You can kind of decipher what I meant by that. Fat Stussy. What rhymes with Stussy? Either way, I think Oda is horny. There's the only explanation, okay? He basically just put the girls in panties and a jacket, right? They're in a onesie. He just put the girls in a onesie and just put a jacket on them. And Robin's not even all the way on. And then we have York walking around just looking like a big snack. I know that's what she does. She just eats everything up for everyone else. But Yorkie-chan, I did not know that milk was that tall. That's a tall glass of milk, baby boy. Either way, that spread was funny, but that's not what I want to point out, right? But Sanji understands. Sanji understands, like, seeing a tall glass of milk like that, what it could do to us, right? In that panel as well, other than Fat Stussy, is Nami. Nami's about to kick the living crap out of Rob Lucci. Rob is like, yo, chill. I thought that was so hilarious, and Luffy is still trying to recover, bro. Listen, this spread is so jam-packed. I love it so much. Fat Stussy, you got Zoro with the immaculate drip, Big Milk York, Sanji just fawning over her like I would if I was there. Just great stuff, bro. And Rob, Lucci, and Kaku, they're 100% faking. They're not asleep, bro. They are awake. They are awake right now. They're acting like they sleep, bro. How down bad is Lucci and Kaku right now? Because they are around as, yo, here's the thing, right? Because of our perspective, we don't understand how scary this is. They are surrounded by a Yonko's crew. You got Jinbei, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, bro, Nami, Robin, Chopper. They can't do nothing. They gotta play dead, bruh. I love it. I love it. Retribution, comeuppance for all the things that they did in Water 7 Enies lobby. Paulie is smiling somewhere. Either way, Shaka in the midst of that amazing panel delivers the bad news that we can't go nowhere, bro. Until we find Vegapunk and figure out what's going on with the Frontier Dome, we can't go nowhere. Let's try to repair it because there's a lot going on. Now, initially we thought Bonnie was gone as well. Bonnie's not gone. Bonnie is actually here and she's fine, but there's some things going on with Bonnie. I know Sanji's in heaven right now with York, Stussy, Nami, Robin. Sanji can't even focus. Sanji's actually being decent to Zoro, saying, yo, we don't want to lose you, bro. Just chill, just chill, just chill. Luffy and Zoro, that panel where they're just casually sitting down. I don't, it just does something to me, bro. I can't explain it. I can't decipher what it just does something to me. Seeing Captain and right hand just there and Zoro with his blades. I'm a Zoro stan. I'm a Luffy stan. No, not. But bro. All right, let's go on to the lab interior, the power room. Kuma will be one of the best characters in One Piece. In this flashback that Bonnie's experiencing in real time, she's seeing things that young Kuma has gone through. Now, Oda's shown us young Kuma before. All the kids, all the warlords as kids, and he was a big kid, right? So he's of a special race. So more than likely, they're trying to bring this boy back into slavery or into war. Leaning towards slavery. He doesn't want to go back. He's crying. He's traumatized. He's terrified. And Bonnie, she's seeing this kid is crying his eyes out and saying, I'd rather die. Kill me. I'd rather die than go back. And if we assume it's slavery, and what makes this so sad, and it does make you a little bit emotional, what makes this so sad is that we saw Kuma in this state in Mary Joa. As a slave, they were riding him. So now Bonnie retroactively processing this information that my dad was a slave as a kid and actively decided to go back to being a slave, that breaks someone. That's my father. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. This ball, right? This paw. We think about the paw that Zoro had to endure just of pain. For Bonnie, it's probably going to be similar because the pain that she's going to endure from seeing everything her dad has to go through and has decided to go through, being a slave back then and actively being a slave again. I can't even fathom what's to come with Kuma, but I am sure that Kuma will be regarded as one of the absolute best characters in One Piece when it's all said and done, just off of the glimpse of what he went through. Because now we know he was probably a slave or a war kid back in the day, and he actively chose to do that again. In One Piece, sacrifices are necessary. My conversation with Par, I put the link below. We talked about just someone like Odin. In the face of what you need to do, making that sacrifice is difficult. Odin didn't have to die. He could have got out the pot. He could have broken out when Toki was giving him his swords. He didn't have to stay in that cage, but he chose to stay. He chose to stay in that hot oil for an hour. Because imagine if Odin did not. Odin can jump forward with Toki's power, say, okay, 20 years into the future, Kaido's gonna be there, I'm gonna fight Kaido. If Odin doesn't make his sacrifice, guess what happens? Yamato does not see him. Yamato is not influenced or moved by Odin. Yamato follows in the footsteps of Kaido. Now, 20 years from now, you're fighting two Kaidos. Yamato fully bought into Kaido's teachings. It's different. The sacrifice is necessary. And so for Kuma, he understands that I was going to go back to a situation that I'm traumatized from, but this is what we have to do. It is sad as heck, man, but it's going to be worth it for the story. Bonnie says, my resolve, even in the midst of just that glimpse, it wasn't strong enough, but I can't stay ignorant. I must understand. Now we got to get to the scoop. The big news, Morgans. All right. All right. If you told me that Vivi was with someone and that she would be safe with someone and this guy would be Wapol, I would be shocked. I'd be like, get Vivi out of there now. The thing is, I think Wapol is hiding as well with Vivi because Wapol got caught up. How did he get caught up? Probably trying to figure out what's going on with Cobra, following Vivi, following Cobra, probably caught a glimpse of Emu him damn self. So he probably saw Emu and he's like, I gotta hide too. He called Big News like, yo, I got a scoop. The scoop was Vivi and himself. He's in trouble too, bruh. Listen, Vivi being with Big News is just okay, Oda, good job. I think this is great as well because this shows that Big News is really like, he's for himself. Neutral, chaotic neutral. Golly, man. Big News just mentioned that Vivi was just crying a few days ago. The question does come up, what do you mean? Was she crying because her dad's dead, or is she now not crying because her dad's alive? I don't know, because Big News is saying, yo, it's Entertainment City. I do this for the entertainment. I do it for the people, right? It's the people's entertainment, that is. I don't know how I feel about it. It's one of those that kind of could rub you the wrong way because it's like, bro, you're actively just spreading propaganda for just shits and giggles, right? That's all it is. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Everybody wants to be entertained, right? Like, why can't I do it, right? So I love it. Now, because what is going to happen to Vivi? What is Big News' purpose other than entertainment? Who's hiding under there? Because that's a devil fruit user, bro. And he's always in his own form. So what's going on there? I need to know. Vivi, again, her taking it on the chin makes a lot of sense considering what happened to Igaram, or what she thought happened to Igaram, which is pretty much like her mom, and she took it and, you know, she had to go through. Vivi is somebody that she perseveres and she understands what has to be done, right? Even the whole situation with Wapol, it coming full circle right now, it's like Vivi is that chick. I can't wait for her to join the Straw Hats again, okay? I really can't wait. This pairing or this trio, Vivi, Wapol, and Big News, what? Never would have expected it, but I'm intrigued. I am so curious about who this traitor is. I am curious about Kuma's backstory. I'm curious about when Kizaru is gonna get there. I am curious about Blackbeard and Law. I'm curious about Garp and Blackbeard. I'm just curious about One Piece, guys, and I'm sure you share my sentiments. But give me your thoughts. How do you feel about it? Let me know. Like the video, subscribe. We're all just here for the ride, guys, and I can say I have been loving it. Okay, make sure to like and subscribe. I can't get enough, bro. I really can't get enough. It's just beautiful.